Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind. Boy, we're getting into some leftist panic today. It seems to be the trend as of late. Democrats continue to sound the alarm. Joe Biden isn't ready. Joe Biden's gonna lose. Or probably more accurately, the evil orange man is gonna win. That panic continues to settle in, especially during these panels. We're building on the previous video covering this ABC panel where full panic was on display. Let me show you guys what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks. So it's that New York Times poll showing Trump leading in 5 out of 6 swing states that's causing all of this. Here's that ABC panel I was referencing.
This is probably going to lead to a lot of Democrats increasing the chatter that Joe Biden should step aside and make room for another Democrat.
And I think the problem that Democrats have is they don't know who that Democrat would be right now. I don't think that people look at Kamala Harris and feel like she is ready to take that step forward. They look across the rest of the party, governors, senators, mayors, House members, and they're struggling to figure out who they could put up if it's not Joe Biden. And so I think the reality is Democrats are probably going to run Joe Biden.
You know, the panic continues. It started off as a little idea maybe 8 or 9 months ago, but really day one since Joe Biden took office. The idea of replacing him, the idea of him being a transition candidate. I mean, I think at one point he literally said that, if I'm not mistaken. Joe Biden was supposed to be temporary, you know? Just hold the office for 4 years, stop the evil orange man, and then we'll replace him. That was an idea that was bouncing around, but for the most part, it wasn't super popular. The more time went on, well, people keep calling for Joe to be replaced.
This is a race about democracy and the state of our democracy and the survival of our democracy. And that's the threat on the other side here. And I know how deeply the president feels about that. So he just has to ask himself, is this the best path?
Congress, he is a Democrat who is running against Biden. So there is a challenger, Dean Phillips. He's from Minnesota. He's Jewish. He's 54. Did I mention he's 54?
Are you running for president?
I am. I have to. I think President Biden has done a spectacular job for our country, but it's not about the past. This is an election about the future. I will not sit still. I will not be quiet in the face of numbers that are so clearly saying that we're going to be facing an emergency next November.
They don't have faith in him. They don't trust him. And now you have ABC News essentially bringing up the idea, claiming the clock is running out. We don't have much more time. We should seriously consider this option. But as stated on that ABC News panel, they don't really have another option. You know, what is the other option? There's not much there. You know, I guess Democrats are finally realizing that they're pretty much out of options. And so they're stuck having to defend sleepy, creepy, piss pants, corrupt Joe. Not exactly the kind of position you want to be in. And I could even tell that that's not the position they want to be in. You could tell that it's a tough position to be in for them, because in defending Joe, you're left with one option and one option alone, and that's pushing absolute nonsense copium. That's probably the only way to describe it accurately. Complete copium. Here's one argument they're making. They keep making this argument.
So we've now heard from a handful of Democrats, from David Axelrod to Congresswoman Jayapal, to obviously Dean Phillips, who's running against Biden in the primaries, all expressing concern about Biden's run in 2024, especially after the latest poll numbers. Do you share those concerns?
I don't share those concerns. Now, look, I think we should look at the poll. We got to get into the data, and we can figure out how we need to improve our messaging. Because I do think we have a messaging issue in that we got to continue to feed the beast every single solitary day.
It's a messaging issue. It's really a messaging issue. Yeah, I don't know if it's a messaging issue, because you guys tried the whole messaging thing. I think that's what Bidenomics was. You touted Bidenomics, Joe Biden's legislative wins, yada, 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 his economic success, and what did that do? Well, it dug the hole deeper. You know, maybe it is a messaging issue, but not in the way that they're implying. They're implying that it's a messaging issue, that Democrats are just too humble, and they're not searching for the credit that they truly deserve. No, that's not the problem. The problem is that's exactly what you guys tried to do. Search for credit and recognition as to what a swell job you're doing, while doing an absolutely horrible job. Not exactly a good look. So yeah, the messaging in a way is the issue, but not in the way that they're describing. Then there's this.
But to your point about the economy, that's a big point, because no matter how much we're seeing the job growth and all of that, people are still struggling with affordability, and that's an issue we need to hold the Republican Party accountable for.
Yeah, so that's the new tactic, I guess. On the issue of affordability, it has nothing to do with Bidenomics or, I don't know, the 2 years of total Democrat legislative control. No, of course not. It's the Republicans' fault. What? Yeah, Democrats have a messaging problem. Their messaging problem is they're dumb and their ideas suck. I mean, the absolute sheer level of copium, it's just disastrous. It's really just disastrous. Every single time these people open their mouths, it's nothing but lies, propaganda, and copium. You know, in today's update of events in terms of the Biden family investigation being led by House Representative James Comer, or chairman of the Oversight Committee is probably a better way to say it, officially, Hunter Biden, James Biden, and Rob Walker have been subpoenaed. Here's James Comer signing the papers. Then that, of course, led to Karine Jean-Pierre being questioned about these subpoenas.
The House Oversight Committee has issued subpoenas for Hunter Biden, James Biden, and Biden family business associate Rob Walker. Do you have a comment on that?
So look, as you just mentioned, it's just breaking, so I don't have this information in front of me. I'm just hearing from you. Certainly, I would refer you to any of the personal representatives on this, on your question. But I will have to say something that I've said many times. This is an investigation that has been going on for a year now and has turned up zero evidence of wrongdoing by the president because there is none. But Republicans continue to double down on a baseless smear campaign against the president and his family.
Where she said there is zero evidence. I mean, we're not going to go into that because this isn't a Biden corruption video, even though I want to dunk on her so bad because there's a plethora of evidence. But anyways, she went on to say what the American people really want is for us to focus on important issues like gun violence and healthcare. What? You know, healthcare is an important issue and there are problems, but nobody trusts the Democrats to do anything about healthcare, just as they don't trust Republicans. They're all bought and paid for by the healthcare industry, let's be real. It's a priority for the American public, but it's not a top priority for the American public on the issue of gun violence. What she means by that is going after law-abiding gun owners. It's not like Democrats actually care about gun violence in Democrat cities, mostly gang violence. I mean, that's the majority of gun crime. No, of course not. So again, not exactly a top priority for the American voter. We're continuing to see this disconnect between what the White House is talking about and what they're doing and what American citizens and voters actually need and want. Completely missing the mark. I guess once again, it's a messaging issue because what people really want is a focus on the illegal immigration crisis that spiraled out of control the moment Joe Biden got in office. What people really want is sound fiscal responsibility in government and an end to the nonsense, endless money printing and money spending. What people really want are logical, common sense economic policies that allow people to work and earn a good living. But of course, we aren't seeing anything there, right? On the issue of the border, they continue to deny that it's a disaster.
So the situation at the border, you're saying, is not a disaster.
That is correct.
It's a total disaster, but the Secretary of Homeland Security, Mr. Alejandro Mayorkas, continues to deny that basic reality. Karine Jean-Pierre, when questioned on the issue, had this to say.
Look, you know, on day one, the president put forward a comprehensive immigration plan, legislation for Congress to take a serious look at and to work with him on getting that done. We have a broken immigration system. It's been broken for decades now, and the president has done everything that he can on his own to try to figure out how do we deal with what's going on at the border.
That the president has done everything that he can. Well, I guess everything that he can except for, I don't know, basic, logical, common sense policy, you know, like enforcing border laws. It's so incredibly stupid, it's demeaning, and it's why nobody likes this administration. It's why their messaging is, quote, failing. Their messaging isn't failing because they aren't getting the message out there about their amazing successes. No, the messaging is failing because it flies in the face of basic reality. The reality that regular Americans, people who live every single day in their community, that participate in their community, you know, that reality that they live every single day, that they see with their own two eyes and that they feel in their chest and in their pocketbook. This administration is completely out of touch, dishonest, corrupt, and it seems like even their greatest allies in the mainstream media are coming to a point where they're abandoning this awful, corrupt administration. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, friends, and I'll see you on the next one.